from 2013, Curse of Chucky. This is my number 6.
You know where I have this.
I'm going to guess this is your number 1.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Are you are you disappointed I have it so low?
I am a little bit.
Yeah.
I thought that we would. This is where I thought our lists were going to be the same. I'm like, there's no way he's not going to watch this and be completely blown away with it.
Blown away. Blown away. Yeah. I'll get into it. Let me just get the plot out of the way and we'll get into it. But it ultimately doesn't do it for me. Yeah. I appreciate what it so this is the second reboot of the series, let's say that. It takes place 9 years after Seed of Chucky, and Mancini once again I believe returned to direct. I think he directed this one as well as the next one, Cult. I appreciate the fact that Mancini obviously got the memo that Seed went too far.
If he wants to keep making movies,
whatever the fuck Seed was, don't do that shit again.
Right.
Because Seed of Chucky, it goes too campy.
Yep.
So this is a reboot in terms of tone. We're going back to a more serious horror grounded film, right? It opens, let's get into the plot. It opens with a delivery truck dropping off a large package to a huge old house in the middle of the woods. A cute girl in a wheelchair named Nica, played by Fiona Dourif, Brad Dourif's daughter, who's pretty cute. I gotta say, like, because Brad Dourif is kind of like a Clint Howard. Like, he kind of has an unfortunate face.
They didn't select him to be Grima Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings for no reason.
Right. Yeah. Like, Dourif kind of has he's got a unique look, you know. But his daughter, she did okay. Yeah. She turned out okay. Yeah. She accepts the delivery, which turns out is for her mother, who she lives at home with. I think I said this, but the cute girl in the wheel, she's in a wheelchair.
Yep.
So Nica is a handicapped character.
Yep. Paraplegic,
yes. Here's a question for you, because I didn't recheck this. Was she born with that? She was, right? Because
she was. Yes.
Okay, and it's because of.
Yes.
Okay, so that was for the reason I thought it was. Okay, so she accepts the delivery. She lives at home in like this old house in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and there's this big box that gets delivered, and it's seemingly for her mother, which is strange. She accepts the delivery, and the delivery driver is like this cute young guy, and just immediately starts hitting on her. You know?
Hey.
Yeah, sure. Okay, fine. And she's actually like open to it, which I appreciate that. They kind of like a little back and forth, you know? And then her mother comes in and is just like, nope, no way. He was just being polite. You're reading too much into it. Sorry, but you're in. Like, her mother's just like immediately
like, there's no way that he would ever really be interested, you know?
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. So like they kind of establish, it's like, no, they don't have the greatest relationship, but okay. The package is revealed to be a good guy doll, new in the box. I think it was in the box.
Yep.
Yeah. Because of course it is. Because we've done this now a few times, but we're doing it again. Someone comes in with a big package. Oh, it's a good guy doll. Cool. All right. Fiona wakes up in. Did I put Fiona? I meant Nica. Same person. Yeah. So Nica wakes up in the middle of the night to her mother, like a blood-curdling scream. And she rushes downstairs to see what's up. And she finds her mother's lifeless body in a pool of blood. Her mother has been killed. But who could it be? We then get like an opening title crawl. It doesn't do the creative ones like the other series, like the rest of the ones in the series do. It's no CG sperm, thank God.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
It's just kind of, it's whatever. It's a little generic. It's like a shot of Chucky looking menacing.
But then it just kind of, I thought it was.
It's okay.
I thought it was decent.
Yeah, it was okay. Yeah. Then we cut to Nica has visitors at the home because it turns out it's like this big old. I want to say it's like an old type of mansion. It's not quite that big, but it's pretty damn big.
It's pretty big.
It's pretty big.
Yep.
Yeah. Nica's, so the visitors are Nica's sister, Barb, a.k.a. Barbie. Come on.
Well, I mean, she kind of acts like that. I mean, she thinks very highly of herself.
No, but they clearly did that because, like, oh, Barbie doll, Chucky. It's like,
I guess. I didn't think of that.
It's stupid.
You would.
Yeah.
If you're looking for things to hate.
Oh, right? I'm not looking for things to hate. The things are just there and I notice them.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's not a nitpick. That's a criticism. Yeah.
It's like the definition of
So Barb is there along with her husband and her daughter, Alice, who is Nica's niece, as well as Alice's hot young nanny, who the husband clearly just wants to fuck.
They don't even make a secret of it. Yep.
No, it's like so obvious and like out in the open. He's very much like, eye fucking her like in every scene that the two of them share. There's also their priest also comes to the house. Sure, I guess they were religious because presumably this is to prep for the funeral because the mother just died. So there is no funeral scene in this film though.
No.
But presumably this is to help Nica grieve and also help her with the preparations for the funeral. That's how I interpreted it. Like, that's not why Barb's there.
Yeah.
She has an ulterior motive, but otherwise I don't really understand why the priest was there.
I think he's just doing a care visit.
Sure.
Like, when something happens,
yeah.
You're just kind of going by to make sure that they know that you're available.
But Nica's sister Barb, she has her own ulterior motive, which is she immediately tries to like convince Nica to sell the house so that they can split the money. Because she's like, look, we could really use the money right now, Nica, and this house is way too big for you. And then, but like, she goes a step further because she's not just like, we'll split the money and we'll both like move on with our lives. She hands her like a pamphlet for some like community she wants her to go live in. It's like for, I don't know, handicapped individuals.
Like you can't look after yourself now that you're
right. It's very condescending and very like, I don't know, like mean-spirited. It's like her own sister, and she's very much just like, here, go live in this community, upend your life. Right. Like, I know what's best for you, Nica. So they're establishing they have a little bit of a strained relationship. Yep. Nica's close with Alice, though, the niece. They're close. Everyone else in the house, she's kind of just indifferent towards, including the priest. Nica decides to, after everyone just like hangs around and talks about random bullshit for a bit, Nica's like, I'll make dinner for everyone. So she goes and prepares, it's like some sort of soup stew dish.
It's chili.
That's what it is. She's making chili for everyone. Oh, you know the fucking trivia for this goddamn movie, do you? Meanwhile, they immediately reveal that Chucky is alive and possessed. We don't know. So here's the thing. Did you know this was a sequel to Seed the first time you watched this?
I didn't.
Okay, so that was a genuine surprise then at the end.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I also didn't know if this was a reboot, like a new timeline.
Yeah.
If Seed and them were canon, I didn't know. And for anyone that watched this for the first time, you don't really know. They give you those answers, but not right away.
Yeah, as you're watching, you'll start to see things that allude to previous entries.
But they point blank.
Right.
Yeah.
But you don't know necessarily that those entries are part of it.
But you do know Chucky's evil because they immediately show him, he puts rat poison into one of the dishes.
Yeah.
But whose dish?
Which one? Yeah.
And this scene's kind of cool. I like it where it's like he poisoned. So he's trying to, first he's going to put rat poison into each one of their dishes, which by the way, doesn't immediately kill you. Just, I don't know, movie logic. It's like, if you eat a little bit of rat poison, you're instantly dead. It's like, nah, it doesn't really work like that, but whatever.
Living dolls though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you gotta have. Sorry, but living dolls are supposed to be in the grounded world. If you want, like we can accept the one thing, but you can't push everything. But sure, whatever. He puts rat poison.
Yeah.
So he's gonna put rat poison in all of theirs, which it looks like Parmesan cheese. So that's why they all like no one.
Yeah.
It doesn't look out of place in a sense. But he ends up getting interrupted because like Nica, I just said walks, but wheels back into the room. And then he only ended up getting to poison one of the dishes. But you don't know whose dish.
Yep.
And then we get this dinner sequence where they're all in like this circle and the camera just keeps moving around looking at each one of them. And they keep teasing like who is the one that got the poisoned dish. And to compound the tension, they all like at one point, almost every character has some stupid moment of like, this tastes funny.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
What?
This is amazing.
No, I can't believe there's no meat in this.
Like, you know what I mean? Or it's like the little girl's like, yeah, this tastes funny. And you're like, oh my God, he poisoned the little girl. And then like the sister's kind of being a bitch, being like, yeah, it's okay. I don't know. It's a little off. And it's like, they keep like setting it up.
Father, whatever his name is like, oh, this is some of the best meatless chili I've ever
like
had.
they keep,
right?
they keep sort of trying to play this up where it's like, we don't know who it is. Presumably it was the priest though, because he starts like sweating profusely and then he just like runs out the door and leaves. He's like, I've got to go. I'm really sorry. I'll return. He runs out. We immediately cut to a car wreck where the priest is barely alive and pinned inside his vehicle. A la Final Destination, he's like pinned, but there's like metal. Like, it makes absolutely no sense. It's like, this is not how someone would be pinned in a car wreck, but whatever. Because I think he was driving like a convertible, but like the way he's pinned, there's like, it looks stupid. There's like two sheets of metal like on each side of his neck. And it's like, what part of the car is that exactly? Because the car got wrecked. Okay, sure. But what is this thing that is like around his neck? It just looks like two pieces of flat, like sheet metal. And that's probably what it was. But then the cop, like, they're like, oh, we can't move him because we don't know how serious he's in. And he's like, and this cop comes up and is like, no, he's dying. Move that metal. And they move it. And apparently that metal was holding his head onto his body because immediately his head rolls off. And not only does it roll off, blood starts shooting out of the stump like a science fair project, like one of those volcanoes.
What the hell are you waiting for? Get the shit off him.
I can't make that call.
He's bleeding to death. Get him out.
Okay, set in on my count. 1, 2, pull.
Well, I mean, they tell you, don't move the victim, right? Because
that's what happens. Now we know.
Right?
Yeah, this movie is educational. Yeah.
And I just want to remind you, right? It was fine that the toy factory was 5 minutes down the road, but the fact that somebody, that this chili might, lead to somebody leaving and then getting in a car accident. Okay, it was a drunk driver. Right. It was also, I think, storming out,
Oh, no, I didn't have any issue with the fact that I assumed he got into an accident because of the poison, is what I assumed, that he like fucked him up. Isn't that the implication you got? Because otherwise, who the fuck ate the poison?
No, I think the whole idea is that he leaves because he's going to be really sick. But that's not actually what ends up killing him. He gets in a car accident.
Oh, so it's coincidence.
Yeah,
I interpret it as though because of that, it fucked his concentration up at the wheel, right? But either way, it's dumb because the way he dies is stupid. I'm not complaining that he was in an accident. I'm complaining that the sheet metal holding the man's head onto his body makes zero sense. And then when they take it off, it just like a Kill Bill like spray of blood. We cut back to the family who's now watching home movies, but they're like watching movies on like, it's like a Super 8 projector.
Yep. Yeah. We had one of those. So it's a thing.
Right. Okay. Right. But you're older than these people, and these people are like in their 20s when they've been like, they're not children from the 70s. No. They're not even children from the 80s. Like, they would be like 90s kids. Like, I don't think it would be Super 8 reels. I know why they did the Super 8 because it looks more filmic to have them sit and look at a big projection screen and be like, it's less cool to have them like take an old camcorder from the 90s and like hook it up to the VCR. But I'm sorry, with their age, that's what it would have been. It would have been more. I don't think it would have been Super 8. It feels like they're pushing that.
Right, but if you think about it, like if this all would have taken place, what, like a decade before?
Well, so this movie takes place in presumably 2013, right?
Sure.
They're in their 20s, so okay,
But
they
like,
would have been kids. Yeah, they would have been kids at the end of the 80s, but the 80s had camcorders. Nobody had Super 8s. That's what I'm
remember,
saying.
it's the mom's videos, though, right? It's
right.
Yeah.
But the mom's videos when they were really young, which would have been 88. They're watching a video from pre-Child's Play.
And I don't think she's. I would not say that Nica is in her 20s. I think she's like supposed to be early 30s.
Good, because that means I can date her. Fiona Dorff, if you for some reason watch this and are...
I think she's your age. Yeah.
Really?
I think so.
There's still hope, buddy.
Go for
There's
it.
still hope. Yeah. There's a ring on that finger. There's no ring on these fingers.
I mean, you are trashing her movie, though.
There's blood on these hands, though, because I'm about to murder your film. All right. So, what was I saying? I don't know, the Super 8 thing. I get why they did it. It's filmic. It wouldn't have been Super 8.
If we do the math, it probably doesn't.
No, it would have been like those camcorders,
the
big,
massive VHS.
Right.
Yeah.
They would have been filming on VHS. It would not have been Super 8. They just went with Super 8 because they're like, it's so filmic. I get it.
Yeah.
Sure. It's a choice. In the footage, Nica spots a very funny looking Brad Dourif. And she's like, that's a funny looking guy. It's like home video footage they're all watching, but it's like, you just see Charles Lee Ray in the footage.
Just kind of standing off to the side.
Yeah, and he's standing off to the side, just kind of being like, "Rrr." And he's like wearing like a Hawaiian shirt or some shit. Like he very clearly looks like a wolf in sheep's clothing trying to blend in with like these normal people, right? Yeah. He just stands out. And what follows is everyone staying at the old house. So we've got Nica, Nica's sister Barb, Nica's Barb's husband, whose name I don't remember, their daughter Alice, Nica's niece, as well as the hot nanny, whose name I also don't remember. And they're staying there while the funeral / house situation is resolved. Meanwhile, Chucky comes to life, obviously, and slowly starts picking them off one by one on a dark and stormy night, with Alice basically functioning as the Andy Barclay stereotype. Because we, again, have Alice immediately bonds with the doll, and we now have our Tyler. They reestablished, not as annoying as Tyler, definitely not, but they had to we're reestablishing the formula again. It's a welcome return to horror. Gone is the over-the-top comedy crap, and it is a welcome change, for sure. Do you want to go first? Because you obviously love this movie. Yep. So I have some good things, but I have a lot of things. Like, I don't hate this movie. Seed, I hate.
Yeah.
The next one I'm about to talk about, I hate. I don't hate this. I just think it comes up short. I'm shocked you have it so high. I could see you having it in top 5. Top 3 boggles my mind.
I thought this was a great movie. Yeah. I thought they did first of all, to say nothing of the fact that it took a franchise that I thought was absolutely on life support and reinvigorated it. Like, if the whole point of Bride of Chucky was to reinvigorate the franchise and it killed the franchise, this movie actually does what it was supposed to do and brings it back to what this was always supposed to be. A scary movie franchise with a force that kills in an environment that is absolutely chilling.
So here's my question. Yeah. How can you put this above 1? Because what you're saying is you'd rather watch this than 1.
Yeah.
But this is still tied to this shit. So how can you say that? That's what I'm struggling with.
Technically 1 is tied to that shit too.
No, but 1 you can watch standalone.
Yeah.
This, you watch it, that ending reasserts, this is still a sequel to Seed. Yeah. We're still in that timeline. Jennifer Tilly's shows up. Like, that's why I'm shocked that you could say you'd rather watch this than Child's Play 1.
I thought this was a fantastic movie.
You'd rather watch this over Child's Play 1?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So now you see what I have to deal with.
Doing it again.
I'm just like, trying to get the audience's sympathy
That's
here.
right.
I'm appealing to their humanity.
She's still not going to go out with you.
Oh, Fiona Dourif? I think we have a chance.
We should start a letter writing campaign.
Yeah, I think we have a chance. If my fans, all 10 of them, would please message Fiona Dourif on her social and link this video and just start sending her clips. Barrage her, harass her with /cinema clips until she finally has to acknowledge us. That'll work, right?
Yeah,
Women love it when you badger them.
Yeah.
That's well. Hey, what's the new trend on how to get chicks? Negging, buddy. That's what I'm doing right here. I'm just negging.
You're
her.
going to take her movie and just destroy it.
Exactly. And then she's going to be like, you know what? Everyone else always says my movies are so good. He's very honest.
Oh man. No, you know what? I was thinking about it earlier today, and this might blow you away. I don't know if I would include it on the list. But the fact that I'm even thinking about it, there was a moment there where I was thinking this might be on my favorite horror movies of all time list.
Oh my God, you're out of your mind. It's nowhere near that level. I think the problem was you got polluted by Bride and Seed.
Yep. I won't deny that.
So I know if you rewatch this in 5 years, you will watch it with clear eyes and be like, okay, I was off with that comment, but it doesn't stand that tall.
Oh, it's good. It's a good one. I you know what? I love the characters.
Okay, let's get into the characters. Let's do that. I got
Yeah.
characters. Okay. There's one character in this that's good, and her name's Nica. Nica Pierce. Fiona Dourif. She's good. She's really good.
Yeah.
Really good. I appreciate the fact that she's a handicapped character.
Yep.
I don't appreciate the fact they handicap her twice. So she's in a wheelchair, and it's like, okay, I appreciate the fact that you're giving us a handicapped main protagonist. They don't often do that, especially not in a horror movie, because they're like, well, they're easy to pick off.
You can't run away.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I that's a bold choice, but I dig it. What I don't dig is they're like, no, the one handicap wasn't enough. It's not enough that she's in a wheelchair. She also has a heart arrhythmia. Why? Why does she need 2 handicaps? That's so unnecessary to the plot. It's just a lame extra gimmick. It's like,
Right, but it's not it's not a convenience though. It's not like they've done this to.
but what is the purpose of this? You're already going to have to write around the fact she can't really run away from Chucky,
Yeah.
not easily. So why are you writing in this extra thing so that it's just weird. It's like you're giving yourself more bullshit to write around, and I don't know why. It serves no real purpose,
Yeah, I guess the whole idea is just obviously we're going to talk about it, later on, but the reason why that she is afflicted with this isn't because it was just going to be, she gets one thing, she gets her handicap.
Well, that would have been fine. I would have been fine with that.
Well, yeah, okay. I'm glad that you're going to be fine with it.
It doesn't need to. Yeah. Fiona Dourif. She's great. Her acting is really good. It's, all of her, everyone in this movie is okay. She is excellent.
She's my Lisa Wilcox for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say she's my Lisa Wilcox for this series because she is the surprise hit of fuck, you're a good actress.
In fact, the church's official response to a situation like this is not to judge, but to pity.
My mother and I have had quite enough pity, thank you.
I understand.
It was my fault. I should have seen it coming.
Nica, you cannot blame yourself. She was supposed to be taking care of you.
All of her, the scenes where she's grieving her mom dying, that's really well acted. As much as I hate the heart arrhythmia bullshit, the scene where she's actually having that heart arrhythmia, it's very tense.
Yeah.
Her acting in that is excellent. Very believable. You are terrified with her of this.
Yeah. Her inclusion is a breath of fresh air in this franchise.
She's also just a smart, cool character.
Yeah.
So she immediately, as soon as she gets the Chucky doll thing, she immediately tries to track down to see where the fuck the Chucky doll even came from. And it turns out it came from So she eventually finds out because she like calls the tracking number and like the shipping company is like, where did this come from? And it turns out it came from an evidence depository, which is stupid. Why would it have come from there? The only thought I have, because obviously we know at the end of the movie, it's Jennifer Tilly sending these out. So did she just get lazy and use the address of the police depository as the return address? That's the only explanation I could come up with for that.
The courier service would have had to have picked it up from somewhere.
No,
right?
but no, they didn't, because at the end of the movie they show Tiffany's the one delivering these packages, right? So I'm guessing like the Chucky doll was delivered or was sent by Tiffany, and we know this because at the end of the movie she's the one bringing the package. So it just seems like it's like Chucky and Tiffany just got lazy and they're like, just put the fucking evidence depository. It's like you could have put any address. Why not put Hollywood, California? Right. Why put the evidence depository from Bride of Chucky? Right. I don't know. It's a bizarre choice. But I do appreciate the fact that she's very proactive and she like, so as soon as she sees the Charles Lee Ray thing, she like immediately, her sensors go up, like her radar goes up and she's like, something's off about this guy. She starts researching the Chucky doll, trying to like learn about it. Like she doesn't know about all this, the Andy Barclay stuff and all that stuff. Like she's a very proactive, smart character. She's a good character.
Yep.
It's a character you want to root for. And I do. I did root for her, you know. She's also kind of fucking badass.
Yeah, she doesn't...
like being in a wheelchair, she holds her own pretty fucking well.
Yep. Yeah, she doesn't wear the kind of woe is me.
No
feeling sorry for
far
herself.
From it.
Yep.
So I've got two specific moments here. So later in the film, when Chucky finally is like, revealed, Nica knows that like Chucky's the main antagonist. She's like, he's attacking everyone. He tries to attack her. She uses one of her paralyzed legs as a fucking shield and takes a hatchet to the leg because she wouldn't feel it. And then she uses that to grab the hatchet out of Chucky's hand and then chops Chucky's fucking head off.
Sorry, did you not like this movie, or I'm having a hard time?
Yeah, it's a cool moment, except it then breaks its own logic, because what happens when you knock off Chucky's head or do anything to Chucky's body parts? What's supposed to happen?
Hey.
No. What's supposed to happen?
It should be bleeding out.
That's right, but it's not. It's a fucking doll's head, and he just puts it back on.
Yeah.
Forgot its own continuity. Again, obviously Mancini is not good with continuity. He breaks his own logic constantly, and that's another example of that. Of like, if she cut his head off, it should have been bloody as fuck.
Yeah, but you act like this is the first movie where they've completely disregarded their own rules. Like, I mean, if you haven't gotten used to it by now, like this
I know what you're saying
all the time.
But for it to be your number one, should be flawless. We shouldn't have any of these like. The gem should be, shouldn't be any opaqueness in that, right. in this jewel.
Gotcha.
Nica also grabs at one point. Chucky's trying to like stab her, and she like grabs the fucking knife with her bare hands.
You want to play, motherfucker? Let's play.
Like, yeah, Nica's badass. I like Nica. She is a great addition to the franchise. She's a really good actress. I'm going to say something, and please still go out with me, Fiona Dourif. She is wasted in this franchise. She is better than these movies. I almost feel bad for her because she's now basically pigeonholed into these films because this one was successful, and then she's in the sequel, and now she's the main character. She's a recurring character in the TV show.
Okay.
And I'm like, you're better than these. Like, you can actually act, girl. Go get some real roles.
Right.
Like, you can do better than the 7th or 8th Chucky movie. You know what I mean? Like, you can do better than the Chucky TV show. And it's almost a crime. She deserves better roles than these. I think she could be in real films.
But it just goes to show that like she's in this because she wants to be in this, not because it's the only thing that she can get, right? It's a family affair for her.
Right. What I'm saying is she's kind of fucking herself by doing this because now maybe she's not going to get any opportunities that...
To our benefit, though, because we get to see her in something like this.
Nope.
Nope. Get out. Get out.
Nope. There will be no agreement
Yep.
from this side of the table. All right, keep going. What's your next positive you got there?
Well, I think you were going to talk about the characters overall, right?
It was only the good one.
that's-
There's the one,
yeah.
and that's it. But
I thought
go
the
ahead.
sister was good. I mean, the
She's
whole
so,
idea
like,
is
stock.
Yeah,
She's
she
just
needs
like
she needs to be detestable.
Don't you think I'm the best judge of when I'm overextending myself?
Frankly, no.
Really?
I don't think you realize the strain you're under. There's no shame in admitting that you need help.
You mean assistance?
Nica, I am worried about your heart, okay?
Right? She needs to be.
Man, all the casts suck. The priest sucks. Like everyone sucks in this, other than Nica.
I thought they were. Oh, come on! Like compared to what was it? Joe and Jewel from the last one.
Oh, they're trash too, right? Yeah, they're absolutely trash. Yeah, Jesse and Jade, they're crap. Yeah,
like, come on.
Yeah.
These people actually seem like they have a background and some motivation. They may not be
Okay,
good motivation.
You know what it is? It's like, okay, we got Child's Play 1, good characters. Child's Play 2, good characters. Child's Play 3, some good characters. Child's Play 4, or Bride of Chucky, 2 good characters, and it's the 2 dolls. And then Seed of Chucky, we've got no good characters. And then this, it's like, okay, we're returning back to one. But it's like, that's how I felt. It's like, I didn't feel like we had good characters. I felt like we had one good character. You know, I don't know.
I thought they were good.
Would you stack up the sister though against like Catherine Hicks's Karen or like Kyle from 2, even fucking De Silva from 3's better, more interesting? Like, come on, man.
Oh, I like the sister. I think I would have her above all of those.
Why? She's
Like-
just a nothing stock, like.
Oh, but you hate her by the time when she gets hers.
Right, but
you're
that's what
like,
I mean.
yes.
You're not rooting for. She's
Oh
not.
yeah, but you don't have to.
So what you're
not
saying
every
is-
character is there to be liked.
So what you're
Like,
saying is there's characters you like to see die.
Sure, yeah. I mean, the whole reason why, one of the reasons why we like Nica so much is because her sister is such an opposite, right? She's such a terrible person. You know, here's this character who has had to deal with real strife, and yet her sister comes in with this perfect life, who is willing to just ship her sister off to a home just so that she can get a little bit more money. Oh, I loved to hate this character. Thought she was great.
Who else? Because you said characters. Who else do you like?
I thought that the daughter was fine. They did a great job of
Alice.
shoving her into a closet for most of the third act.
Shut her up. Don't
Yep.
let her do anything. Just
Yep.
get her the fuck out of the movie. Yeah. She's no Andy Barclay.
Yep.
She's no Andy Barclay.
Yeah, but get rid of the kids. Once they got rid of this kid, oh, even better.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. What else you got? Or would you like me to go on to? I have some other points.
Yeah.
Again, I don't hate everything. Let's talk about the Chucky design. So it looks terrible, but then you find out why it looks terrible.
Yeah.
So-
and they hide him very like
So the
he's
new
more
Ch-
sinister.
So the new Chucky design, I think he looks awful. He looks kind of like dumpy looking. Like he just looks something about it. Like he looks kind of chunky and like it's just he looks stupid. But then you find out why, because it turns out the real scarred Chucky is actually underneath the. He almost like the way I interpret it was like he's wearing the skin of an actual good guy doll over top of an actual like the real Charles Lee Ray Chucky doll. Because later on it gets revealed, Nica's sister
chunked off.
His face starts peeling off, and then you see the scars. You know, but continuity wise, how does that make sense?
Like why?
No, why would he still be scarred? Like it would actually have made more sense for him to just be in a new Chucky body. They should have just went with that. Like I get why the whole to me the whole reason they had that reveal of like underneath this new Chucky is our scarred Chucky is just so that we as the audience can go, it's the same Chucky.
Right.
But you could just do that through dialogue, dude. You know, it's called writing a movie. Sometimes you can do that. I know it's hard. Don Mancini, but it's kind of lazy because he was.
I didn't need it.
Right. It doesn't add anything other than you going, oh, it is that Chucky.
I did get the sense that he needed to make sure that there was at least a tenuous connection to the movies that came right before it, because he didn't want to completely alienate those freaks that think Bride and Seed
are
right?
like really good.
And I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure you're out there. So he's got to have that connection, right?
I guess.
But you're right. Like, it
Do it
doesn't
through
make a whole lot of
dialogue.
sense.
Do it through dialogue. Yeah. Because it's like, because why would he be in the scarred version? He got chopped up by Glenn. Like, why would he be in that scarred? So what, did they sew him back together again?
It is for the impact of it, right?
Yeah.
That all
No,
of
I
a sudden
get
you
it.
see it come
I
off
get
and
it.
you're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, even though we already knew, and even though the characters in the movie wouldn't make that connection. They're like, who's this scarred?
Right. No, they wouldn't. Exactly.
It's
Yeah,
just for the audience.
Just for the audience. Yeah, absolutely. There's some good cinematography.
Yep. There's a lot.
I
thought the whole movie was shot very well.
Yeah, I think there's some, like, so Chucky in particular, there's some cool creepy shots of Chucky.
Like
Again,
they kind of like shade his face and do like a side
even
eye.
though the dumpy look doesn't look great, they shoot it very well to make it look creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really good sinister shots of that face smiling, and you're like, ooh.
When he kills the babysitter. That's one in particular.
Yes, absolutely. He's got like a really evil fuck face, in that scene. But yes, the cinematography is quite good. The setting, the old house. I'm assuming this is on your positive. You must love this.
I love that house is dripping with perfection.
Literally dripping. Literally dripping. So it's probably my favorite thing about the movie is the setting. I love single locations, and they use a lot of this house. I find the story and the characters within it aren't interesting. That's my biggest problem with it. But the setting is great. The creepy old, it's not haunted, but the creepy old haunted-esque looking house. It's just got so much character to it. In the middle of this house, this old mansion, we've got an old-timey elevator. Similar to the elevator in Child's Play 1. Right. It's like literally like, even though it's like going up one floor. So I'm guessing that wasn't for Fiona. They just found a house that had it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that was a thing at some point, like some old timey houses. That's a cool set piece. That old timey elevator, the big metal caged elevator is great. I love the fact that, like, you want to talk about how to dress your setting, like how to dress your set. So we got this old house. It's raining out. Literally dripping with character. The rooms they're leaking water.
Yep.
I don't know if you caught this. There's buckets of water all over the place where they're just catching water. No one draws attention to it. They don't need. That's how you fucking do a film. You don't need a character being like, yeah, the fucking roof leaks all the time.
Can't believe I got to bail this out again. Yeah.
They don't explain it. You just have it in the shot.
Yeah, because in their world, they've just gotten they're used
they live
to
with
it.
this.
Yep.
Yeah, they live with this. You see all these buckets everywhere, and they're just dripping water. No character draws attention to it. We get a little bit of a trope of horror films. We get the creepy attic. I'm just a little disappointed we didn't go into the creepy basement, but we got one of the two. That's pretty good.
Probably would have been difficult for her to get down there and back up.
No, but we could have had another character go down there.
Yeah,
Like the nanny
true.
could have gone down there. Maybe her electricity kill was in the basement or something, but they don't use every inch of the house, but they use a good chunk of it anyways. But we got a creepy attic, which is always appreciated. A complaint I have about cinematography. Are you familiar with what I'm going to call it a dual focus shot is?
Is that where like two items are focused?
Both? Okay, so normally when you do this shot that I'm about to explain, this is how you would do it. You'd have my face and say Chucky was behind me here. This is in focus. This is out of focus. And then if you wanted to rack the focus, meaning swap the two, you would change the depth of field. So now this is out of focus, me, and what's behind me is now in focus. That's normally how you do that shot. But you can get around that by shooting the same thing with two different cameras. So now what's in the foreground and in the background are both sharply in focus. Obviously, somebody on this movie loved that effect because holy fuck, did they overuse it? I don't know if did you catch this?
It didn't it didn't trip me up clearly as much as it did with you.
Oh, they way overused this shot a bunch of times in the movie where it's just like a character's in the foreground and then everyone in the background's in focus, and it's like, yeah, just do it once. You don't need to do it. I think they do it like 4 or 5 times. It's like you're losing the impact of that shot.
Right.
Now you're just overusing that. Whatever. Again, it's that. That's the filmmaker side of me that's like annoyed by things like that. Why don't you go to your next pick? Whatever you got.
What do I have here? So we talked about the house already. Just in general, lowest budgeted movie of the entire franchise. $5 million.
It feels like it.
It doesn't.
Disagree.
You know what it is?
They can't leave that one spot. They had one house. That was probably Don Mancini's actual house.
No, I got it. This is like Godzilla -1, right? When you don't have
Fuck
when you don't have a lot of money.
No.
Right? You're forced to be creative. They put it into the writing. They put it into the direction. They put it into the staging. Right? When you got too much money, you end up with Bride of Chucky. Right? When you've just got so much money that you can't. You think that that's going to be able to compensate for having a terrible movie? No, this one, they had $5 million and they had to spend it wisely. They had to do it with writing. They had to do it with caricatures or with character building. Oh,
Caricatures was the correct word because that's what they are in this film.
right.
All of the characters besides Nica are caricatures of actual people.
Right.
Yes, you had that right.
That's right.
Your brain was trying to auto-correct. Yeah,
but it got it right anyway. Right?
Yeah.
There's also direct-to-video. This one and the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels it.
It's so weird. Like I mean, this is the best one in the franchise, and this one,
It doesn't feel filmic. It feels low budget to me. I know you're saying that
low budget
you're like,
in the best way, though. This is
I
guerrilla
know. See,
filmmaking.
you saw it as like, oh, this is a scrappy film, and they made it work. I'm seeing it as he needed. No one was really going to give him much money after Seed of Chucky, so he had to do something. It largely succeeds, but I'm not making it. I'm not going to lie and say I'm not saying you're lying. You're lying to yourself, but I'm not saying it. I'm just not going to say it's the best in the franchise. I just can't. I can't get there.
Yep.
I can't even get that it's top 4. It's
Everything
definitely bottom 3.
everything that I've talked about so far, they get it right in this one. They keep Chucky as a mystery. They keep him hidden for a very long time. He doesn't quote unquote come to life until much further into the movie.
20 minutes in, that's not that far. It's 20 minutes in is when he poisons the rat, does the rat poison thing.
Right, but he's not running around. He's not being.
Well, they don't know that, so I'll give you that.
Yeah.
He doesn't reveal himself.
Right.
He reveals himself really late in the movie.
Yeah.
He reveals himself, I think, to Alice first. I want to say around like the 45.
Because again,
mark.
remember, once you do that, you can't go back.
No.
I thought the chili scene was great. Did you catch that it was like Russian roulette when they're showing the table from over top and they're going around?
Yeah.
It was like the 6 barrels of a gun.
Yep.
One of them's got the loaded bullet in it.
Yep.
See, you don't need $5 million. You don't need $20 million for that, right? That's just
Nope.
That's just
If for $5 million you can make a solid direct-to-video, you definitely can do that. Yeah. Something else I want to criticize. There's some terrible CGI in this. And it's like, you don't need to. If you can afford the puppeteers, never don't use them. And there's a couple of shots. There's a terrible CGI shot of like Chucky walking down the stairs.
Yep.
Why? Don't just cut around that. Or later in the fucking same movie, they have an overhead shot. So the way to do this is like, okay, we got to film a guy in a Chucky costume being the Chucky, because if the robot can't do it, let's not use CGI. They figure it out later because there's a shot above. It's a ceiling shot looking down, and it's clearly a guy in a Chucky costume walking down the stairs, and it works. It's totally effective. Why have this shitty CG shot earlier? I don't know. It's weird. There's also like a terrible CGI shot with the husband where Chucky like rams Nica's wheelchair into him, and he does like this flip that's like an inhuman flip, and it's clearly like the CGI has like they just took the model and like flipped it.
I think it becomes more of a stark comparison because the rest of the movie is so clean.
Yes.
Right?
So why have these?
Like because CGI screw ups and effects screw ups are rampant throughout this franchise. Right. This is not the first time they've like.
Well, no, the first 3 they didn't use CG.
John Ritter getting a face full of nails.
That's when they started doing the CGs 4. Yeah, absolutely. But the first 3 didn't really do it.
But you don't notice it in, Bride of Chucky because you're like, well, the whole thing is shit. Right. But in this one, you're like, this is so good. And then when something like that happens.
It stands out. It definitely stands out. I'm curious if you caught this. There is absolutely no payoff for the cool metal wheelchair that is teased at the beginning of the film. I know you know what I'm talking about. Come on. So at the beginning of the film, they show that like inside the bathroom is just this weird something out of, it reminded me of the wheelchair from Elm Street 3 that kills the nerdy guy. It's like this horrific looking all metal wheelchair. And I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, not everything has to be a Chekhov's gun.
Yeah.
Right?
They show it not once, but twice. Twice they tease this fucking cool chair. And you're like, what is that chair? What's going to happen with it? Chucky doesn't use it I thought he was going to use it to kill somebody. Doesn't use it to kill anybody. Nica doesn't use it for anything. Why even have it in the shot? Like, why isn't the cool metal chair Nika's main chair? What is that? It drives me nuts because I'm like, you chose to put it in the frame. So, but what was your logic? What is a metal chair? Like, what is this?
Why have her flirting with the delivery guy at the beginning if he's never going to come back?
Right.
Like
right. Yes.
Why include things unless they're always going to be integral to the plot? Like, why have set dressing?
I know. It just that one seemed very much like they were trying to point towards something.
Yeah.
I almost think they maybe had a kill in mind with it and then didn't have the budget to pull it up. Yeah. That one feels a very, like, yeah. I'll let you keep going. I only have one last thing to say. And it's don't watch this. No.
What else have I got? Again, keep Chucky as inanimate as possible. I think we talked about that. Whenever they do that in these movies, it's just that the potential for what he's going to do, I find is much more frightening than the actual, right? So when he's actually running around, it kind of loses something. I thought this movie did very well with that. When Nica looks up Chucky on the internet, all the previous movies were referenced.
Okay, I've got that down. Some good Easter eggs.
Yeah.
There's some good Easter eggs in this. We see an article about Andy from Child's Play 1. At one point, Chucky actually says, you remind me of someone named Andy Barclay.
Yeah.
You remind me a lot of Andy Barclay. He was a whiny little bitch just like you.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So
I was hoping that we wouldn't see anything from Bride and Seed, but we did.
It's all canon, buddy. It's all canon. Yep. It's all part of the same franchise. So to Mancini's credit, he acknowledges even the worst parts of his own franchise.
Yeah.
You got to give him some credit for that. You're not. He doesn't try to run from those things.
Yep.
He tries to work them in. Do you want to get into the? Sorry, keep going.
No. He still has some one-liners. I was kind of.
I don't remember any of them. Yeah. So they weren't bad enough to insult me or good enough to make me laugh. So I just don't remember them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't write any of them down, but I wouldn't necessarily.
You can't call this living. You've just been on life support. Time to pull the fucking plug. Women. Can't live with them. Period.
Some of the kills, pretty good. Yeah, I thought the electrocution one was pretty epic.
Yep, it's not bad.
The knife to the eye.
That one's pretty heinous.
Sister.
That one's pretty heinous.
Anything to do with eyeballs, right? And then it goes right into her eye, and then he basically pulls the eye out.
Yeah.
Yep. No, thought that was great.
There's some pretty good kills in it that are like, the priest kill is stupid, but it's not really Chucky's kill. It's just, I don't know what that was.
We're back to a movie where we take Chucky seriously because he had become a real, like you were even saying, like his own girlfriend doesn't think of him all that highly.
Right. They brought him down a peg. Yeah.
Right. Now he's right back up a peg. And
we're
even
right back to the don't fuck with the Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where we're back to. Yeah.
Right.
It reestablishes that.
He talks very little. Right. I think which is interesting.
Well, the most they give him is that ending.
Yeah.
He talks a shitload the last 10 minutes. That's when you get the whole.
The 10 minutes that could have been cut off and made the movie absolutely
I'm waiting.
perfect.
I want to talk about the ending because I know you hate this ending.
All right, go for it.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, before I say that, I'll say this. Ultimately, my feelings of this film, just hear me out. This Curse of Chucky reminds me of Halloween H2O. It's not a bad movie, by any means, but it's not a great movie. It's just kind of too simple, safe, and doesn't really add much to the lore. It feels like it feels like a strong series reset, but ultimately it feels, it comes up a little short, and even part 3 felt larger than this. That's my feelings on the movie. It's like, that's why it was so low for me. It's like, I appreciate the quality was there again, but it's just a little too small in scope. It doesn't nail it for me. It's like an H2O. It's just, it ends up being a mid pick for me.
I feel like most of our viewers are probably going to take my side on this. I think they may not have it at number 1. I think I'm the only one that puts it at number 1.
Curse is actually very well liked.
Yeah.
And I am off on Curse for sure.
And again,
but you are way off on 2. So
I don't look at the ratings for these.
No,
like
and I also don't
wanna
care
know.
what you people think. Yeah, I am here to say what I think about these films. But Curse is very well regarded.
Like when we finish here today, I'm going to go. Yeah. That's when I'll start to dig into. So, what did everybody else think of this? Because I don't want to be.
Oh, I think most people have it
that.
like their top 3. Yeah. So no, I'm definitely in the minority on it, but I don't give a shit.
No,
this is what I think of it.
Care. Yeah, you care.
No, this is what I think of it. I think it's a ultimately kind of weak entry. I think it's an H2O. I just don't think it doesn't really do anything wrong, but it doesn't really. Nothing impresses me in this movie. Really, it's just kind of like, yeah, it's okay. And now let's talk about the ending. Ooh. So we get this big exposition dump. So it turns out, because you don't really know this until the end. Yeah, this is in the same timeline.
Yeah.
Sadly. This is so Chucky, after he's like subdued Nica, she's like bleeding out on the ground, and he reveals his whole motivation of why he's attacking the Pierce family. Because that's the other thing, is like, why are you going after them?
Why are you here?
Right.
Yeah.
So it turns out that Charles Lee Ray had like this obsession with Nica's mother, and this took place before the events of Child's Play 1. So this was before the first movie. He was obsessed with her. He kidnapped the mother while she was pregnant with Nica, right? And then Nika's mother was able to contact the police. The police show up, and that is what triggered the events of Child's Play 1. So when you see Charles Lee Ray like hobbling through the streets and Chris Sarandon's chasing him, Nika's mother is what created that. She was the catalyst for that.
Yeah.
I don't really like that it's connected that much. That's a little too much of a direct connection. Yeah.
We didn't need that, right? Like, we already know he's a bad guy. Like, it doesn't have to be.
Well, they have to give him some reason, but that's a little bit too much of a reason. But it also is just kind of like, okay, his motivation is he just is trying. So he was obsessed with this woman. She, in his mind, betrays him and calls the police, even though she's a kidnapped victim.
Right.
And then he stabs her.
Yeah.
And because of that, that's what paralyzes Nica. Is it damages her while she's in the womb.
Hits the baby.
Yeah, it hits the baby or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also causes her heart arrhythmia. Sure.
Again,
It does both
developing
those
babies,
things.
getting stabbed. Come on.
Sure, whatever. Okay, so that's a little stupid of a motivation. I don't like that motivation. I don't like the connection. He should have had the balls and just made this a direct reboot.
Yeah, but I'm still okay with it so far. This is fine.
So then
we're still okay.
So then, Tiffany shows up, and
damn it,
okay, this makes no sense. Why is Tiffany helping Chucky? Chucky tried to kill Tiffany at the end of Seed of Chucky. Or did we just forget this?
Hey man, you're the one that likes those movies.
No, I only like Bride. I hate Seed. Seed's the worst.
Yeah.
He tries to kill Tiffany. They have like a falling out.
Yep.
Chucky seemingly gets killed by Glenn. So I have a couple questions. Who put Chucky back together? And why have they now patched things up?
Yep. And I'm sure some viewer watching this is gonna be like, "There's easy answers to these questions that we just
but
missed."
not in the movies.
Please tell us what we're missing.
Maybe in the TV show they explain all this,
or the novelization.
Fuck off! No, it's I didn't understand that. And then this leads to like, so Tiffany shows up like right at the end, and I think she picks. Oh yeah, I remember this scene now. Fuck this scene. So they copy Bride of Chucky. So it's another shot. There's like a so I guess I should also give the actual ending of the movies. So it ends. Chucky wins. It's the first entry that Chucky wins.
Yep.
So everyone in the house is killed except Alice and Nica, but Nika's like mortally wounded. Nica gets arrested and goes to court, and Nica like tries to like tell her. It's basically what we assume happened to Catherine Hicks's character Karen in the original. Is like she basically just like, no, the doll is alive and killed all these people. I didn't do it. They're like, yeah, okay, send her off to the loony bin.
Yep.
She then goes to the loony bin, and Chucky is again still alive. She has like a badass line where she's like, "You didn't kill me, motherfucker."
I'm alive, you son of a bitch. You hear me? I'm still alive! Still alive.
Or something like that as she's like walking away to like her, jail sentence or whatever. And the police, some police officers like takes the Chucky doll into like the cruiser, and then like Tiffany comes up behind him and slits his throat. I'm like, fuck, these cops, they're not trained to look in the backseat in the Chucky universe. Like, yeah, because literally it's the exact same shot from Bride.
Yep.
I'm like, come on. They didn't even need that. Like, you could have written it a different way.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a little lazy. And then we get a shot of Chucky successfully transferring his soul into Alice, the niece.
Yep.
Again, Chucky wins. Nothing interrupts the ritual this time. And then it cuts to credits.
It's great, right? Isn't it? Isn't that great?
And then we get an after credit scene, which I guess you don't like.
I wish I had just been like, all right, movie done, and shut it off.
Nope. After credit scene, we get another big box Chucky delivery, this time to a very familiar face. Well, you may not recognize him immediately, but Andy Barclay.
Yep. The original.
Andy Barclay, it's the original actor. I think his name's Alex Vincent.
Yep.
Who is now older. He's like a grown man. And he gets a delivery at his house. And we have some really good Easter eggs in this shot. We see so it's like in his house, we see Andy's diploma from part 3. So he actually did graduate from the military academy.
Yep.
Great touch, Don. Sometimes you remember your own lore.
Right.
Yeah. Nailed it. We also get a picture of Kyle from part 2, as well as the classic photo of Andy and his mom, which is obviously it's Catherine Hicks from the first movie, but I believe it's also the photo he brings to the military academy in 3, because he has a photo of him and his mom. So great little callbacks. And then Chucky cuts himself out of the box, and Andy turns around with like a shotgun and just like immediately blows him away.
Yep.
Play with this.
Andy!
That's the actual ending. Yeah. Which, in case you're wondering, like, what was that about? Is meant to set up our next film. Yeah. So.
No, I thought it was fantastic. Thought it was number one.
Okay.
If I was going to go back and watch one of these again, this would be it. I want to watch it again. It's like the only one that I can say that.
I would rather watch 3.
Presto, you're dead. It's definitely you.
And that reflects in my ranking.